Hello everyone and welcome back. I hope you guys are doing great today. Now we got another super thanks video today. Now if you've watched the last couple of days, you'll know that I'm trying to do a video each day this week, which is out of the norm for me. I normally do a Tuesday video, which is basically a sewing tutorial or behind the scenes of, what I'm doing here at Griffies Designs. And then Fridays are start to finish of creating one of my costumes. So you can see that whole process. Now, I just gotten back from vacation a couple days ago, and so I thought it would be fun to do some quick little easy edit videos for me. So like the one yesterday you saw, it's just straight through of a jibber jab talk from Brad. But I have started a super thanks. So basically, what is a super thanks? Super thanks is basically when a way that you can give me a tip and support me and the channel here by giving me a little bit of money. Now, there are many ways that I can make money now with creating these videos that I'm monetized. One is just by you watching the video, and that helps me get a little bit of money coming my way. But if you're watching these videos and you say, hey, I would like to throw a little extra money at Brad because I've been enjoying these videos, they've been very helpful, you can give me a super thanks. So how do you do a super thanks? You just go below on the share line. There'll be 3 little dots, and if you click that, you'll see something that says thanks, and then you can leave me a comment or a question or a sticker, and it allows you to say how much money you want to give me a little tip, and then you can submit that. Now, I have agreed to that if you give me a super thanks, I'm going to give you a super thanks, which is basically I'm going to shout you out in a future video. So if you want to hear your name or have your question or your comment read on one of my videos, you can give me a super thanks. Now, I have gotten a few super thanks from some people that I thought would be great videos. So that's what we're doing this week. We're doing super thanks videos on some questions that I got that I thought would be great for you guys, that I think that you guys would like hearing. So today we have got a question and a super thanks. So thank you so much from, and I hope I don't butcher this name, because some of the names on YouTube are the person's actual like first and last name, and then some look like it's kind of like a, like a screen name or something. And so it may not be a full name, but it's from Talo Sheeg. You'll be able to see it somewhere on my screen, the screen name. But it says, hi Brad, exclamation point. What airbrush paint do you use? So I thought this was a great question because I get a lot of this question either on my Instagram or here on the channel in the comments. What am I using for airbrush, the paint that I use for airbrush? Because as you know, airbrush has become very popular in the last few years. And so it's just a way to kind of like highlight a costume by doing an ombre or little designs through the costume that you can bead on top of. So it kind of has elevated the costume game over the last few years with doing some of this airbrush. And so it's definitely something that you can get a little more creative with than doing the standard dip dye. So I used to do a lot of dip dye dresses, which was just basically doing a basic ombre down the dress. That's how I did Gracie Gold's Olympic blue dress that was so popular and that everybody knows her, in. And now with the airbrush that I've learned how to do it over the last few years, you can kind of do tighter ombres, or you can do some designs or just kind of highlight areas. And so it's nice for that. So we'll go over the paint. So basically what I have been using, what I have been liking, is a paint from a company called Golden. So it's called Golden Fluid Acrylic. Now they have 2 different versions of this. They have Golden Fluid Acrylic, and then they have Golden High Flow Acrylics. So the Fluid Acrylic is, even though it is acrylic paint, it is a little more watered down than a standard acrylic paint that you would buy at a craft store. Now I'm not sure if you can take regular acrylic and then put some kind of water or airbrush medium into it and water it down so that it goes through the airbrush, because if it's too thick it gets caught in the airbrush. But you may be able to do that with a regular paint. I have never experimented with that, but I think that could be a very good future video. If you agree, please give me a comment below if you would like for me to maybe try a regular acrylic paint and watering it down with some airbrush medium to see if it works. But I've been using the Golden, and I prefer So the high flow acrylic is made for airbrush, and it goes through the you don't have to do anything to it, and it goes through the airbrush really nicely. You have to water this down still a little bit. However, I like using this because it has a wider variety of colors. This, or at least at my store, because I go to Blick Arts. There's one in my building here in Atlanta, and so I can just run down there. And so they have like a few basic colors of this, but they have a ton of colors in this, and it comes in all different sizes. It's kind of expensive, but I just kind of put a little bit of airbrush medium or a heat set fabric paint medium, which I will talk about in a second. But I like the variety of colors of this, especially like, you know, some of the other paints I've seen are like basic red, basic blue or whatnot. And you would have to mix them to get a pretty, you know, jewel tone color or whatnot. This stuff seems to have a lot of really pretty colors. And you still have to sometimes change it a little bit, especially if you're trying to match a color you're going for. But a lot of them I just use straight out of the bottle, and they're pretty color, and so you don't have to do too much with it. So I like the fluid acrylic from Golden. Now I do water it down, and I water it down. There's a couple different things you can use. You can use the Golden. There's an airbrush medium, and so I'm not sure what it is that's in here exactly, but it's an airbrush medium. I think it's just something that basically waters it down. Yeah, it just says thins acrylic color for spraying. And so you can just put this in there and it will thin it down. However, I like to use, I don't know if this is called GAC 900 or if it's GAC 900, but it's a heat set fabric painting medium. And so this waters it down enough, and then you can heat set it and to give a little bit extra set to the fabric and the paint, so it stays on better by using this. And so this just is in the section at Blick or wherever you can find these Golden fluid acrylics. I think they may even have them at Michael's. I feel like I've seen them there. But you can just Google it if you don't have a Blick around you. But I add it, and then it's nice. Now, airbrush still, even if you use a heat set, it still can come off with some wear and tear and washing. So you still have to be careful. It still makes it slightly hard. I haven't found anything that, and I have not done a lot of experimenting. I basically found this, liked it, and I've been using it, but I don't ever really have time to experiment too much. But it helps water it down enough to get it through the airbrush. Now, if you guys know of anything that maybe doesn't make paint hard that you like using, please leave a comment below. I would like to do a full video on where, kind of like my glue video, where I experiment with lots of different paints, and I can go through them all and show you what I think and give my opinion on each and every one of them. So let me know what you guys are using, if you're using a different kind of paint, or if there's some kind of like dye that you can put through. But with the airbrush, like I was saying, it still can wear down over time, especially if you're washing it or if you scrape it. Like I always tell people to, like, you know, especially the skaters, like when they go to sit down to like tie their skates, like if there's a skirt, I tell them like to lift the skirt and not sit on it, because sitting on it on a bench, especially if it's wood, or sometimes they can be abrasive and, like, you know, get at the fabric. I tell them to lift the skirt, because if you're sitting on it and like rubbing up against it, it does start to wear down a bit. So, you know, if you want something that like stays, then that's what you're going to do, the dip dye. Maybe I'll do a dip dye video at some point soon once I find time. But the airbrush is so versatile, and so that's why I like doing it. Plus it's easier, like slightly easier to clean up than the dip dye. Take the dip dye home and do it on the stove. But you still have to be careful with it, because it can rub off still, even with the heat set. I haven't found anything that like you can scratch at it and it doesn't come off. Like, it still comes off. So you just have to be very aware of that if you are getting an airbrush costume, or if you're doing an airbrush costume. All right, so there are two other paints. I have used this one before, and it's called Createx Airbrush Color, and I feel like a lot of people have used this. However, I feel like this is maybe more of the basic colors. I think they have neon colors in this, but they don't have like pretty raspberries or teals or those kind of things. I think you have to do more of a mix, and that can take a little time, and I'm not great at the mixing. There's some people who do beautiful airbrush, and they use this, and they can get like perfectly matched colors. I'm just not great at that. I don't know if it's because I'm normally working so quickly trying to get it done, but maybe that's something I need to spend a little more time and kind of heighten my airbrush skills. I am not the best at airbrush. I can do the basics, but there are some people who do some works of art with their airbrush skills. And then I've never used this one, but this is Jacquard textile, but I've had a few people tell me about it. So maybe I need to do a video on this, but I really would like you guys to comment below if you are somebody who does airbrush and you have something that is different than these three that you would like me to try in a future video, because I would like to try to get as many different brands and types of paint as possible to do a future video like I did on that glue video, because that glue video did wonderful, at least for my standards on my channel. I think I got like 3,000 views, which I know doesn't sound like a lot to, you know, for some YouTubers, but I'm still small beans here, and so a lot of my videos are hitting like 500 or 600 views on a video, but that one like went to 3,000 like really quickly, and y'all really like that one. So I'm gonna try to bring you more of that kind of content, because I feel like that is what people like. I'm still trying to figure out like what are you guys exactly wanting to see, because I was kind of trying to go wide and like show you everything, but then some things just don't hit, and then or y'all are not interested in it. But then some things I feel like y'all are like, you go straight for it and we'll watch it, and I get a lot of views. So I'm still trying to figure out, do I want to go wide and just show you everything, and then if you just don't like something, that's fine, you don't watch it, and I just have to be aware that a video may only get 200 views, or do I just try to go for the big, you know, go smaller and do a tighter content on, you know, on things, and you know, get more views on it. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out this whole YouTube thing, and I'm sure it will change over time. But I was thinking I could show you kind of everything that's happening within my creative life or in my skating world life. So for now, I think I will continue to do that kind of stuff. But I would like to do this airbrush video, because that's one of the main questions that a lot of y'all have asked me. And so we'll probably try to put one of those videos together. I also want to do a beading video. I know a lot of y'all would be interested in the beading video. So give me a comment below if there is a paint that you've heard of or that you use that you like, so that I can get everything, and then I can do my setup and do a video for you, so that we can all kind of see together what I personally think works well. I know, like with that glue video, there was a couple glues that I didn't love, but that other people swear by. So if something works for you, I say use it, do it. I was just, you know, I just give my personal opinion on things. And some things for what I'm doing do not work for what I'm trying to achieve or the way that I work along. But I know a lot of you guys would be very interested in one of these airbrush videos. So with that, I think we've talked about it all. That's just supposed to be a quick, easy video, just to let you know this super thanks question. So I thank so much to Talo Sheeg for your super thanks. It is very helpful to me here when I do get the super thanks. I'm not begging you guys to give me these super thanks, but if you're feeling generous and you want to help me and the channel out, it is very helpful, so that if I ever do a video where I have to buy different paints, especially things that maybe I will just use for that video, I can use some of this money to kind of put back into the videos. So I want to try to bring you as much as possible, so that when you're on your journey, whether it's sewing or beading or creating, that this kind of is a community where we can kind of try things out together, and you know, I'm spending the money to make it happen, and so that you don't have to buy a gazillion different things. But if anybody is really enjoying these videos and they want to give me a little help, you can do one of those super thanks, and that shows me a little bit of love. However, if you want to show me love, I would just be grateful if you watched the video and if you shared it to people that you think would enjoy it. We can continue to grow this community, because by watching the video, I also get a little bit of kickback from those ads that you're seeing, or by your YouTube Premium subscriptions. I get a little bit of love there. It's not a lot, It's like a couple of dollars for a video. But anything helps, right? So, all right. I think we're done. So if you want to like, subscribe, and push that bell notification, that will let you know when I'm putting out any new videos. Normally I'm doing sewing tutorials on Tuesdays, and then on Fridays I'm doing my start to finish of a costume. So I've got a few more that are in the can, and then I have some more things I'm working on. Plus I've got that Instagram video that I needed to start, so I need to start that dress soon. I did a whole Instagram question or poll for about 5 days in a row, where I had my followers on Instagram help choose different options to create a dress. So I need to now create that dress so that we can finish that video and then see what my Instagram followers came up with, which was, I think it's going to be pretty cool. So so look out for that in the next few weeks, because I'll try to get that started in the next week or two. When I can find some time. But anyway, so please like, subscribe, comment so that you can continue seeing these videos and seeing when I'm putting out videos. And then if you would like to check out my websites, griffies.co is my main website. And then my stock website, where you can buy things and ships right away, is bradgstock.com. Now you can also check out my Amazon store. That's where I have all of the different items that I use to create my costumes, including my airbrush stuff. So if you are interested in the airbrush paint, you will need an airbrush. So you can go on there and you click on that. When you click on that, it gives me a little kickback. So that's another way you can help me out here on the channel to get a little bit of love and get a little money coming my way. And it doesn't charge you any extra when you're clicking one of those links. I think actually if you click that link and then you decide to go on a shopping spree, that's stuff that I don't even have, I think it still gives me a kickback. So you can click my link and then go buy yourself, you know, $1 million car or house on Amazon if they sell those, and I'll get a little bit of kickback from that. So well, I think that's a little secret, because at first I just thought it was the items that I put on there, but I think it's just like a link that gets you to Amazon knowing that you got it from me, and so then it gives me a kickback if you buy anything within that session. Anyway, so go check out that, and that's in the description below. And then share the videos, and you can check me out on Instagram at Griffies. You can check me out at Facebook at Griffies, and I think that's it. And also, I got a new chair. Isn't this a cute chair? I got this from Uline. It's where I also get my cutting tables. These are packing tables, but I use them as cutting tables. But I needed like a wheelable chair so I could sit here, because it's a little higher than a regular chair. So now I have kind of like a stool that I can sit at and do whatever works. So I'm not standing on my feet all day, whether it's making patterns or maybe doing some beading or whatever. So now I have a new little rollable stool. So if you like this, it's really nice quality. Uline is great for things. I do not get any kickback from Uline, but if Uline would like to give me a sponsorship, because I do buy a lot from them, whether it's, you know, these tables or packing supplies or office supplies, they are great. All right, I think I've jibber-jabbed enough in this video. So I have a video coming tomorrow, but I think, once again, one more shout out. We'll give you one more shout out to Talo Sheeg. Thank you for your super thanks. I appreciate it. And then anybody else who wants to get me a super thanks and I can answer your question or give you a shout out live if you give me a comment on one of my future videos, you can do that below. All right, I think we're good for today. I had fun talking about airbrush glue. As fun as you can have talking about airbrush glue. But glue, paint, what am I talking about? I'm a little delirious. I'm just getting back from vacation. I'm filming a ton of these videos. I've been cleaning my studio so I can get ready to really get back to work tomorrow. I'm a little crazy. Airbrush paint. Talking about airbrush paint. It's exciting about that. But please, if you're still here and you haven't left, please leave me below what paint that you use so that I can get all those paints and then we can do a full video, because I think a lot of you would like to see that. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.